I've built this the wrong size.
I'm on 300 subscribers. 300 subscribers.
So hard.
It's got about 40 nails in it. So when you're dyslexic, that's a nightmare. I made a complete and utter schoolboy error. It's 1931. Make it again. Yeah, and then this job will be out. We'll be done.
Good morning, Monday morning. Welcome back. If you're new here, it's a joinery channel, but for the first 2 days this week, basically if you watched last week's video, you understand what I'm doing this. This is where there's a vanity unit going that I've made. You can see that we're not ready. So basically, just to get the job moving, and it kind of would have helped me out for doing it last week, but anyway, I said yes, I'll do it, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to basically skim all of this. Yeah, so essentially it's the whole room actually. I just sort of went round, itemised everything, and then realised that if you'd have just said to me, yeah, you've got to do the whole room. Yeah, so that's fresh board, that's been done. I've got to dab this wall and just work out. I'm going to float this a little bit for him, get that a bit nicer. He's a good friend of mine, the tiler, and he knows a lot about building, but he's prepped all this for me. So all I've got to do is put a bead on that, patch that bit of ceiling, bead on this. Obviously I've got to do a new bit of wall, bead on this, and then it's just prep and skim everything. But it's, you know, you could go like buggery and get this done in a day, but it's yeah, it's awkward in someone's house. So we turned it into 2 days. So I've just protected all the stairs. I'm now going to get all my materials up here, probably even the plasterboard. If I protect all the floor, put the plasterboard in there, same little boards, and I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to stay in the room basically, because you know there's a bedroom there, a beautiful house, really nice and clean. Last thing I want to be doing is going up and down the stairs with buckets of anything wet, although I have just rolled and scrolled the stairs. Right, so what I'll do is I'll find a place to put you up, I guess, for a time lapse, just for different bits. I did that after the Friday's job, that actually worked quite well. Right, okay, yeah. Let's see what I can get done in 2 days. Well, good morning. Tuesday morning. Didn't seem like I did a lot yesterday. I know if you actually watched them, I actually watched my footage back, but essentially what I've done is I've prepped this wall. I had to bomb these reveals out because they were so twisted. Because I can't fix a bead into this foam board. And these stop beads, they're a nightmare for getting flat. So I've created a straight flat edge, put some tape against it in the hope I can skim to it. And then we can take that off as it's setting and just run a bit of polythene down the corner with a bit of water, and it'll just polish the edge. Again, I'm going to try and create the same detail for him. So I can do all of that, then remove that to tidy up the edge. Then he can butt his trim up to my fresh plasterwork. I could have beaded that if this was the same level. But if I'd have put that bead on, I'd have had to have packed the bead out, and then we're in the same situation, aren't we? It's too flexible to try and get straight. You know, even if you've got a straight wall, which that is, that's a relatively straight wall. And even trying to get that going down there without it flexing is like so hard. It's got about 40 nails in it. Stay with me. Did it. I did it. These lights been there. They're a bloody pain. Trying to work around them, it's turning into a right messy ceiling. But yeah, we're all on. That's getting tiled, vanity unit and tiled. And then what I've done is I've just sort of like cut it back so you can put his bead up to it. You know, I think it'll work. I mean, if it doesn't, he has said he'll just tile up to, he'll chop a bit back and tile, and on that side he'll tile all the way around. And that's giving it, it's a bit flatter for him now because there's a great big hole there. So worst case scenario is he's got something better to tile on and he's got to scrape a bit of plaster back, but I think he'll be all right. Right, I've got to go get the vanity unit, but if I've got time to, then I might just do it tomorrow because I'm dirty. I don't really want to touch it. Morning, Wednesday morning, back again. Yeah, just I ran out of time yesterday to just basically offload this unit. So that's the vanity unit that I made to go in that room. Obviously with a scoop out for the waste. And then one further down for the waste, which I don't think is required because they weren't, to my knowledge, that wasn't getting put into the wall. These were, but that wasn't. But we've got the option now. I'm covering you up. Where have I been? I've been to the guy's house I'm doing the bathroom for, and I've just given it a final measure, spoke to the plumber, still waiting for bits, but I'm just going to crack on with it now. So I've got to go to the workshop now, gut the workshop because I dumped loads of stuff in there from Friday when it was raining, and I've just dumped my plastering kit back in there. So just got to give that a quick clean up. I'm just going to crack on with it really. Yeah, it's 10 past 1 in the afternoon. Fairly hard to document what I've been doing or even quantify how much time I've just lost. When you're pricing a job, I basically, for about half hour, been looking at this thinking, well, rows and styles big enough. Shall I reduce them to 65, just get a bit more detail? That's sort of just general crap I do. And I've also had a right nightmare. I've gone through the shopping list of all the stuff that the plumber sent over, and I drew the whole bathroom up, and which you've seen the visuals for last week. I'll put a few up now. And then I did a plan as well, which is very basic. It's a crap plan. I'll put that up. That was based on an 800 shower. I then misread the plumber's quote that he quoted for a metre shower. Realised he hadn't, but he has quoted for a 900. And we were going to have a 600 towel rail. That's what the customer wanted, because I sort of drew it all up for the customer before we got the plumber involved. But the plumber's gone for a 900 shower, which means you can't fit a 600 towel rail in. Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you all this, but basically I've just had to redraw it, which is fucking annoying. So I've just had to redraw everything, which obviously I needed to do before I cut all my rails and styles. Long and short of it is, actually, that's bollocks, isn't it? The long of it, because you've just heard it, is that. The short of it is, rather than filming any sort of detail of what I'm going to do, I'm basically going to wedge my phone somewhere in a corner, hit time lapse, and I'm going to move like bugger just to get this done, because if I don't, I'm going to have this job, it should be an easy job, but I've started on such a bad, so we're going to smash this job out this week, no matter what. Okay, right, so you're going on time lapse now.
You're just going to see chaos, just going to see me going at 100 miles an hour. It'll probably be about 5 seconds of footage to be there, but anyway, let's go. Yeah, got them done. There they are. Got that's where the bath mixer's going. That's the vanity unit doors. That's the door for underneath this unit. That's the little blanking panel on top of that. This is what I had to mess around with today because just trying to get the tower rail to fit. Anyone that was paying any attention will notice that I basically had to whack the domino back out and go slightly out of sequence on that because I made a complete and utter schoolboy error. And I tried to run pieces like this through the spindle moulder and then just thought, do I really want to lose a finger? And as I was making them, I was like, should I just do one long length and then cut and domino them afterwards? I thought, do I normally do that? I thought I normally put small bits through, but maybe they are quite, this is what I was struggling with this morning about reducing the rad and style size because they are quite narrow. Sometimes when it gets too narrow, it doesn't look very good and you just do one big panel. That's what I do for my drawers. Yeah, and this is the bath panel. So I've just put like a MDF tongue in, will be glued in. And then from the back, it'll be pocket screwed on a batten to keep it straight and rigid and stop any movement. Right then, I am going home. I'll see you tomorrow for another exciting day of putting this bathroom together in 3 days. See you later. Good morning, Thursday morning. Shout out to Zephyr who messaged me yesterday, and yeah, we're sort of on the same page really. Some people say unclamp within half an hour or something. I've seen some people move it stuff around. I don't. They were clamped up last night, so they've had about whatever 12, well yesterday afternoon, they've had like 15, 16 hours. I'll leave them for as long as I can today, which actually brings me to my next point. It's probably going to be a long time I'm going to leave them, because what I was going to do this morning was come in, and I've got a list of things now to do, like make the cupboards, bits and bobs, which I will go through in a bit at some point today. But I've just found the title of my thumbnail. I can't believe I'm smiling, but basically, I've built this the wrong size. Yeah, probably the biggest cock up I've made in a fair few years. That has got to be completely redone, and I haven't got enough timber in the workshop to do it. I have, but then it means I haven't got any for what I need to do for the rest of the day. Bugger. But I think I've got a plan. I've only been looking at it for about 10 minutes, but someone's probably done this before. I've probably come close to doing it before. I might have done it on one door before, but basically, that measures, this rail measures 468, and the stile measures 498. So when you're dyslexic, that's a nightmare. So basically, what I should have done is the 498 piece should be in here, and the 468 piece should be there. And obviously that adds up to an accumulative error of I'm out by 90 mil on the width, and I'm actually 30 mil too low. Now, I could just add an extra 45 mil of frame in there, an extra 45 mil of frame in there, and I could sort of cut this down by the 30 mil and piece a piece in, or it is at a different point of the room, so the shadow gap on the wall, on the floor, could always be a little bit different, but not 30 mil, and I'm not willing to put an extra 45 mil of frame in. It kind of would mean that I'd end up putting, if you look at the picture of it, it'd mean I'd have to put a double frame in. I think it just shows, doesn't it, that I'm making it from scratch. It's got to be right. So what am I going to do? Well, I've got one advantage on this, and that's that it's a dummy panel. So you are never, apart from when you have to service the bath, you are never ever going to see these ends. Hence why that one's actually got a bit of a breakout on the back. It just doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, on time that's again unfortunately, but I'm against it, so it's going to have to go. I can't be doing any fancy filming on this while I'm walking around. It's 8:30 now. I'm going to take this apart by basically cutting it on the panel saw. What we're going to do, because this is my most important measurement, this adding up in between each rail and stile, this piece here, that has to remain at that size for me to have the right width. So I'm going to cut, I've got a pencil on me, yes he has. So I'm going to run the panel saw in on each bit. So we're going to lose the thickness of the blade all the way down there on each one of these. Cut the joints out. I could do it with the track saw actually, because it's a thinner blade. Just answered that. I'm going to do it with the track saw because it's a thinner blade. And then I can throw that back in between these pieces. I'll just have to reroute everything out. But here's my logic. I'm rerouting out everything in the same place and doing all my joints in an opposite place. So all my rerouting of my shaker panel will be in the same locations. So I'll be just getting rid of what I glued in yesterday. That makes me feel good, doesn't it? Yeah, I'll just be, all the work I did yesterday, I'll just be getting rid of. And then all my joints will be in a new location on the board. So if there's any doubt that they wouldn't be strong enough, they will be. And obviously, as I mentioned yesterday, once the board's up and in position, so I'll try and lift up now, I can't do that on one hand side. Once the board's in position, you'll never see the back of it. And I'll, hence why some of it's a bit ratty. I'll screw a piece in. It'll have like a support top and bottom, like a rail that just keeps it I mean, to be honest, it's pretty bloody straight, isn't it? But there's a bit of wiggle in it, a bit of wobble that just keeps it straight while it's doing the job of being a bath panel. It's either that or I just find another bathroom that's got the right size bath. I think we'll change it. Right, so time lapse. And I'm trying not to swear on my video. I'm not going to swear. Time lapse and going to go like bugger. Going to go like buggery. Is buggery a swear word? I don't know. Anyway, probably shouldn't say buggery and block me out on the algorithm. Or just get a completely different sort of audience. Right. Although I don't know what your preferences are. To be honest with you, might be like mine. Not long. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But actually picked up like 10 subscribers last night, so I must be doing something right. Apart from making a bath panel. I haven't done that right, have I? What a shame, because it looks good. Just gonna keep looking at it. So yeah, 8:30 now. It's not. It's 8:35. Let's see how we go. .32 that should be. It's 1931. Make it again. No, I don't know what's happened, but probably just these gaps on the doors. It's only 1 mil, half a mil on each gap. Noticed when I was clamping it up, they got a bit tighter. I must have cut the spacing bits a bit too big. Small. 11:30. Can't believe that. It's 3 hours it's taken me to basically, essentially, apart from opening these doors, that's 3 hours from when I've walked in this door and gone, I'm going to start work today. Unbelievable. But I've rectified it. Obviously, as you can see, it is a bit messy on the end. You're never going to see any of that because it's got a frame going over it. The only thing you might see when you open it in a few years' time to service the bath and whatnot, I can always put some 2-part filler in the end. And you'll only see one bit, so I'll just pick the worst one. I've said this before, they're the sort of things you get when you get something handmade. You can't buy that bath panel at that size, 1932, obviously with it being uniform, so it's got to be made. Now, if I did buy one, would it have those little defects on the end? Would it be remade twice? No, it wouldn't, would it? That's what you're getting, that's what you're paying all your money for, just really for me to... and I have also said on a previous video, try and include it there, rails and stiles. Lay them one way, lay them the other. So all your stiles upright and lay your rails crossways. Even if you put them on 2 different benches, just when you're going over to the spindle moulder, stops you getting confused. You'll also notice that I haven't addressed this yet, have I? I had to whip out the old table saw because that is broken. Don't know, I'm hoping it's just an electrical fault. I'm going to try and start it now actually, but it just cut out on me. I'm going to go on the old computer now, do my cut list. What filming I'll do, I don't know, because obviously now I'm 3 hours behind, and I was probably a little bit behind anyway. So I'm just going to jump on with it and update it, when I can really, I suppose. Right then, it's the end of the day. Obviously, where were we last? This disaster, I think, which is now on the bench. I've left all the other doors, whatever, that's all still in the clamps. And what I've done is I've done the face frames. So I've got the face frame for something for all the units over there, and then I've got the face. In fact, I'll show you how I do it. Yeah. So this is the face frame for the vanity unit. So if you have a little look through from the back, you'll see they're pocket screwed, and then there's a domino in here. So if you look on, there's other videos of me doing that. Maybe go to the kitchen. No, the scullery. I think I showed me doing it on that. Maybe even the kitchen, I don't know. Last kitchen I did. And basically, the reason I do it that way is because I really like, pocket screws as a fixing are so strong, and it just saves you having to clamp it. There is the odd instance where, like over there, you'll see I've run a clamp in. That's just to hold them together while I'm screwing it, and I'll just leave the clamp on. You'll see, because the spindle molder broke, I had to be a little bit creative with these panels, which are actually the ends of the vanity unit, that will all become clear tomorrow. This is all the carcass material. I've cut it all. That's for the small cupboard, that's for the big panelled cupboard, and that's for the vanity unit. So they're all cut. So in the morning, I'll just be able to come in here, do all my grooves, shelf holes, dominoes, pocket screw holes, and then I can assemble. There's a small little detail. So if you look up at the screen, you'll see there's like a little overhang that the door creates. And I've been messing around with this detail in the last 2 or 3 jobs, and I think I've come up with a system that I like. On this one, I'm going to try it out. I just don't know whether to paint the detail or just leave it as natural wood. But that will become clear tomorrow, hopefully, providing I don't walk in the morning and realise that I've cut everything I've done today wrong. Right, cool. See you in the morning. Morning, Friday morning. Feeling a bit more confident about today, although I have lost the pen for that board, which means I can't write my list on the board, which is going to annoy me all day. I also turned around and went back home to get my something, which actually I didn't need because it's actually in my pocket. That was good. Anyway, wrote a list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to film me doing this list, and we'll see if my brain wanders from that list while you're doing it. See if you can remember the order of this. So it's, it's do the shelf holes, do the grooves, do the pocket holes, do the dominoing, assemble, then it's mitre these panels and wrap them around the corner with that to one of these units. Might even put the legs on actually as well. I'm gonna write that on the list, put the legs on. Then, not that I'll film this bit, but I'll have a quick break, go through my drawings. Then I'm going to start processing. I know, I've got to cut a little end panel, probably won't film that. And then I've got to start processing this oak. So if you can remember that order, might write it down. So this is what I'm going to do. We've just done that anyway, it needs to talk. Right, okay, bit of filming, let's go. quick break in proceedings. I think it's fairly confident to say that I didn't plan this glue up very well. You know, it's not exactly an Instagram post, is it, that, as a glue up? Real world gluing. Onwards and upwards. Right, end of the day, end of the week, end of the day, end of the week. This is how far I've got. Not quite as far as I wanted to get, if I'm going to be honest. But we had the problem, didn't we, of this, which was just a ball ache for me. But I've resolved that. All the other panels and doors are made. The face frames are all made. The carcasses are all dominoed, ready to take the face frames, and I have fitted that one just as a dry run. I'll have to domino those. I'm gonna have to do that Monday. Basically Monday I'm gonna get everything sanded and primed. I'm not finished painting this, I'm just priming it. And the reason I wanted to I knew I was gonna have to have a day doing, you know, another day on it anyway, but I wanted to get so far today, and I'm quite happy because I kind of have got that far, and that's to have got these bottom pieces in. Obviously I need to take them back off. They're just dominoed on. Sort of quite tightly, but they just click on. Basically, take them off, sand them. If you look on this picture here, which is of the kitchen I did 2 weeks ago, I left these on and left them oak on these sort of nice little pantry cupboards. It looked really nice because all this is going to get painted, not by me. I'm just going to prime it. I kind of thought, because I'm going to stain the oak dark, it'd be quite nice to have it dark in the background, but I'm sort of doubting myself now. I'm thinking actually just have it painted, so when you open the cupboard, there's when you open the door, because this will always be on show up to this height anyway, that's got to be trimmed into the floor. Maybe that should just be painted the same colour as that. See, when it's oak and it's open, it looks great, but when it's shut and it's oak, even though if I do it dark, I think it's too much of a margin for it to be like a negative detail, which is what I was hoping, because I'm going to stain it dark. I was kind of hoping that it would be that it would look like a bit of a shadow gap. And then when you open it, the light gets in, you see the oak. That's kind of what I was thinking. I'm not going to give up on it. I'll probably try that on the next job. It would be a nice little touch. But yeah, you can see what I do. I've mited it round, so when you walk in the door and look at it, obviously imagine that will all be painted. That bottom frame lines through with the doors. Does it? Bloody better do. Yeah, it does, yeah. Yeah, it lines through with the doors. Everything will be painted. There's, again here, obviously I'll just have to put a little piece in just to cover the plinth legs. In all honesty, I don't need the plinth legs actually. Could take them off. But it's a dust trap, isn't it? So we won't bother. We'll put something down to the floor. Plus there's probably going to be pipes there. Waffle, waffle, waffle. Bit more waffle. These, I got so far with these, they're flattened on one face and one side. They need thicknessing now. Anyone who knows anything about it is the art is really in getting them flat. Basically thickness them. Anyone could really do that if you know how to use the machine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in on the weekend, I think. And I'm just, because unfortunately, although this is mainly only shelves, some of it does need gluing, so that needs to be gone off for Monday morning. So I can just come in, sand, stain and prime everything. See, now if I come in at the weekend, I can do that, which means I can fit Tuesday. Yeah, and then this job will be out. It'll be done. Bugger about that, but it's got a little bit of drama out of it. I'm on 300 subscribers. 300 subscribers, amazing. I think I've got about 30 subscribers in the last 2 or 3 days. Absolutely mental. It seems to be that any sort of how to do this, even though I'm not really showing you how to do stuff, or any cock up, you notice YouTube videos, people are always going, just making a drama out of anything just to get the thumbnail, which is what I'm going to do this week. I'm going to make that a bit of a drama, see how well it goes. I don't like to do it, but it's curious really. Right, see you next week. We're fitting this. Won't be on that all week, and I might start this porch. Got a porch start. Might even have to do a bit of brickwork on it as well, so that'd be a bit of fun, wouldn't it? Right, thanks very much. Honest to God, means the world to me. See you next week.